Hey, I tracked the actual cost of renting versus buying in 3 Texas markets over the last 5 years, and the gap is not what you think. In Austin alone, a renter who stayed put since 2021 has paid out over $90,000 in rent with zero equity to show for it, while the person who bought, even at higher prices, is sitting on real wealth today. And most of those online rent versus buy calculators, they're missing at least 4 major variables that completely change the answer in Texas. And I'm going to walk you through the real numbers for Austin, Dripping Springs, and Houston across 3, 5, and 10-year timelines. And I will show you the exact scenario where renting actually wins. Most lenders give you a rate, I give you a strategy, and today's no different. And the rent versus buy decision deserves the same strategic thinking as any other mortgage decision. On a quick note, if you are renting right now and you want to see what the numbers look like for your specific situation, your income, your target area, your timeline, I run those on a free strategy call. The link is right below this video. Okay, let me set the table with the variables that most calculators completely ignore. Texas has no state income tax. That sounds great, right? The trade-off is property taxes. The average effective property tax rate in Texas is around 1.6%, which is roughly triple the national median. But here's the thing, that number varies wildly by city. In Austin, the combined rate in Travis County runs close to 2% of your assessed value. In Houston's Harris County, you're looking at about 2% as well, sometimes higher if you're in a MUD district. That's a municipal utility district, which is basically a special tax zone in suburban developments that can add an extra 0.5% to 1.5% on top of that. And if you're in Dripping Springs in the Hill Country, you're dealing with Hays County rates that land somewhere in between all that. This is the first thing that every rent versus buy calculator misses. They plug in a national average property tax rate of maybe 0.9%, and your whole projection is off by thousands of dollars a year. So here's how to check yours. Go to your county appraisal district website, look up any home you're considering, and find the total tax rate per $100 of value. Multiply that by the home price and divide by 12. This is the monthly property tax. And if it is significantly higher than what a calculator estimated, you know the tool was lying to you. Now, let me show you the actual comparison for each market. Let us start with Houston because it is the most affordable entry point. The median home price in Houston right now is around $330,000. Average rent for a comparable home sits around $1,600 to $1,900 a month, depending on the area. So here's what happens over 5 years. You rent at $1,900 a month. If it increases just 4% a year, which is actually conservative for Texas, where landlords have zero rent control, by year 5, you're paying about $2,300 a month. And over those 5 years, you've paid out roughly $125,000 in total rent. Gone. Zero equity. The person who bought that $330,000 home, yes, their monthly payment is higher when you add property taxes and insurance. But after 5 years, they have built roughly $40,000 in equity just from principal paydown on the loan. Plus, Houston home prices are projected to appreciate modestly around 3 to 4% annually. That could mean another $50,000 to $65,000 in home growth. So the buyer is sitting on potentially $100,000 in combined equity, and the renter has a stack of receipts. Now, I promised you the part where it all clicks and we're almost there. But first, Dripping Springs in the Hill Country. This is where the math gets really interesting. You see, the median home price in Dripping Springs is around $665,000 to $686,000, depending on the month and the neighborhood. That's significantly more than Houston. And rent out there is, for a comparable home, runs maybe $2,200, $2,800 a month. So the monthly payment gap between renting and buying is smaller than you would expect because your rent is already high. And here's what most people miss. Dripping Springs has seen prices pull back about 10 to 13% from their pandemic peak, which means if you buy now, you're not buying at the top. You're buying in a corrected market with strong long-term fundamentals, great schools, proximity to Austin, consistent in-migration from California, and the Northeast. Over a 10-year horizon, even at modest 3% annual appreciation, a home purchased at $675,000 today could be worth over $900,000. That's over $225,000 in appreciation alone, not counting the equity you built by paying down the loan. Now, a renter over that same 10 years at $2,500 a month with 4% annual increases, they will have paid over $360,000 in rent. And that number should make your stomach drop. I know it does mine. And if you're renting right now and you want to know what the numbers actually look like for your specific situation, your income, your target area, your timeline, let's run them together on a free strategy call. I'll show you exactly where the crossover point is for you personally. The link is right below. Okay, Austin. So the median home price in Austin proper sits around $520,000 to $540,000. Now, I had a client earlier this year. They were renting in Mueller area, paying $2,200 a month, had been there 3 years. She told me she had felt like she had missed the window to buy. And we sat down, ran the numbers, and what blew her mind was this. She had already paid nearly $80,000 in rent over those 3 years. If she had bought when she first started thinking about it, even at a higher price, she would have been sitting on roughly $60,000 in equity. The difference between those two positions was over $140,000. That's not hypothetical. That is one person's real money. Now, for the moment of truth, here's the one scenario where renting genuinely wins. And I'm not going to sugarcoat this because I think being honest is more important than making a sale. If you're planning to move within the next 2 to 3 years, buying in Austin or Dripping Springs right now may not make sense. And here's why. Closing costs when you buy typically run 2 to 4% of the purchase price. Selling costs when you leave another 5 to 6% in commissions and fees. On a $500,000 home, that is roughly $40,000 to $50,000 in transaction costs. If the home only appreciates modestly or stays flat over 2 years, you could actually lose money compared to renting. The crossover point in Austin, where buying starts to clearly beat renting, is right around that 3 to 5 year mark, depending on your specific numbers. In Houston, because of the entry price being lower and transaction costs are smaller, the crossover happens faster, sometimes as early as 2 to 3 years. So here's what I want you to do now. Step 1, pull up your last 12 months of rent payments and add them up. Just the total. That number is your annual cost of housing with zero return. Step 2, go to your county appraisal district website for the area you want to buy in and look up the actual tax rates. Not a national estimate, the real local number. Step 3, I want you to write down your honest timeline. Are you staying 2 years, 5, 10? If it's 3 years or less, renting might genuinely be the smarter play. If it is 5 or more, the math almost always favors buying in every Texas market I've analyzed. And if you want me to run these numbers with you, but not a generic calculator, but with your actual income, your target neighborhood, your timeline, your loan options, that is exactly what I do on a free strategy call. I will shoot you the exact crossover point in your situation. The link is in the description right below this video. And if this video helped you see the rent versus buy question a little bit differently, hit subscribe. I have a video coming next week that breaks down the 3 biggest mistakes Texas first-time buyers make with their pre-approval. And trust me, number 2 is actually going to surprise you. I'll see you on the next one.